Hey guys, it's Vikramaditya and you're watching Night for Chess. Friends, today we are having an update from Aeroflot Open which is being running in Russia. And in round number 7, the two Indian chess prodigies Nihal Sarin and Pragnanandhaa have been paired together. Nihal had the white pieces and Pragnanandhaa had equalized the game and the game was equal for most of the moves. But in the end game, bishop against knight, Pragnanandhaa sacrificed a pawn and he misunderstood the position and it was a mistake to sacrifice that pawn and Nihal was managed to win the game. So let's watch out. Before we proceed, you can subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon for latest updates and more chess lessons. So let's watch out. Nihal had the white pieces. He started with d4, knight f6, c4, e6, knight c3, bishop b4. So we have the Nimzo-Indian defense, and then Nihal played queen c2, which is the classical variation of Nimzo-Indian. Castles, knight f3, d5, cd5, ed5, bishop g5, h6, bishop h4. And here black decided to play c5, which gives black an active play, and Prag is not worrying about the pawn on d5, which will become isolated. So after d takes c5, now here Pragnanandhaa played knight bd7. So obviously we can see here that if black plays d4, piling up on pinned piece, then it seems that black is going to win the piece, but white has simply the move castling, which pins the pawn itself. So white will win the pawn back. So black played knight bd7. Then we have e3, queen f5, bishop e2, knight e4, piling up on pinned piece, and then castles. So white is completing his development, and now here Nihal played bishop takes c3. So we have other possibilities also. For example, knight takes c3, then b takes c3, and here if black plays bishop takes c3, then after rook a b1, white has a good open file play, and if knight takes c5 here, then it's a mistake because rook a b1 forks queen and knight. So black has to be careful in this variation. Also we have after let's see, knight takes c3, b takes c3, and then queen takes c5. Okay, this also gives white a slight edge. And we have another variation, which is after castles, if queen takes c5, trying to pin the knight here, but white has an interesting move, which is bishop to e7, deflection of the queen, and this is a temporary sacrifice. After queen takes e7, we have knight takes d5, and the queen is overloaded because both the pieces are under attack, the knight and bishop, and queen cannot support both of his pieces. For example, queen e6, knight takes b4, and white has won a pawn. So after castles, here Pragnanandhaa played bishop takes c3, we have b takes c3, and now knight d takes c5. So here also we can see that if queen takes c3, then white has two options. First is queen b1, not exchanging of the queens, which gives white a slight edge of two bishops. And another variation here is queen takes c3, and if knight takes c3, knight d4. This is an interesting variation, and obviously black cannot take the pawn because of bishop e7. So if rook e8, and now white can defend his pawn on c5 with this rook fc1, and if knight takes e2, knight takes e2. This is the middle game of opposite color bishops, and the black's d5 pawn could be weak here. So after knight d takes c5, we have rook fc1, rook e8, knight d4, bishop d7, and now we have the standard breakthrough c4, d takes c4, bishop takes c4, rook ac8, queen e2. The game is equal, both have equal chances, And here knight d6, bishop d5, knight a6. We have more a few more moves which are the best one in this game. Bishop takes e6, bishop takes e6, bishop g3, knight f5, and now exchanging the bishop from knight e6, rook c1, rook c1, rook e6. And we can see here that black has two pawns versus one in the queen side, and white has 4 versus 3 over the king side, and white has a bishop, black has a knight. So white is aiming for the bishop against knight endgame, in which we have pawns on the both sides. So white will have a slight edge. After bishop f4, knight d7, h3, knight c6, rook d1, queen a4, and now rook d2, rook e8, queen g4. Both all these are standard moves. Queen e4, king h2, queen e6, and we have the repetition of moves here: queen d1, queen f6, queen g4, queen e6, queen d1, queen f6, and here Nihal played queen b3, rook d8, exchanging the rooks off, and now queen d5. The position is still equal. There's no chance of winning here for white. Queen e7, king g3, knight c6, h4, queen e6, and now exchanging the queens of the board, which results 3 pawn island for black. So after bishop d6, g6, king f4, b5, g4, king f7, and now h5, fixing this h6 pawn on the dark square. It's a good idea. gh5, gh5, a5, king e4, a4, f4, king f6, a3, and here black played king f7, which is not so good. Black should have played knight a5 and trying to post his knight on c4, which is a good square for this knight in this position, eyeing on a3 and e3 pawns. So after king f7, king d3, king f6, we have e4, king f7, king c3, king g7, king d3. It's a long end game. King f7, bishop c5, king e8, bishop d4, and Prag decided to play now b4, a b4, knight b4, king c4, king c4, and now knight c2, bishop f2. And here Pragnanandhaa decided to play e5, sacrificing his pawn. Perhaps black wants this diagonal closed for this bishop, so he decided to sacrifice his pawn, e5. But black has a better move here, which is king d7. So let's see, this is an interesting variation. After king c3, black has knight a1, and now perhaps black was worrying about the move bishop c5 and bishop to f8, but black has a counterplay here, bishop c5, then we have knight b3, and after bishop f8 we have the move king e8, excellent move. And now bishop takes h6, we have knight c5 attacking on the e4, and if king d4, obviously white has the possibility of e5 also, in which black has knight e4 check, king b4, and then knight g3, and black will take the h5 pawn. The position is equal. So after king d4, then black has the move king f7. This is a very, very interesting move because it controls this g7 square, which for the bishop, which can come over g7 and control over a1 square. So after king f7, if white takes the knight, then obviously this is bad because of a3. So after f5, e takes f5, white is freeing this diagonal and then takes the knight. But then after a3, bishop to f4, e2, bishop e5, and now we have f takes e4, and now Obviously the bishop has been overloaded here, so white's plan is to take the pawn with his king, and black's plan will bring his king to take the pawn on h5. So let's see, king c4, king g8, king b3, king h7, king a2, king h6, and it's a draw. But Pragnanandhaa sacrificed his pawn here, e5, and it's a mistake. Now king c3, knight a3, fe5, king f7, bishop e3, king g7, and here also the move bishop b6 is actually a mistake for Nihal. Well, in the game, after bishop b6, black played king f7, and then after bishop e3, king g7, bishop c5. So actually in this position, the good move here is bishop c5, and it wins the game because after knight b1, king c2, white is controlling this important a3 square. But the point is that after bishop b6, king f7 black played, but black has knight b1 check here, and obviously after king b2, black has knight d2, the counterattack on e4 pawn. So after knight b1 check, if white plays king c2, then white has the repetition knight a3 check, and again black has a drawing chances. It's an interesting, very interesting position. But Pragnanandhaa missed this. After bishop b6, he played king f7, and then Nihal had the chance again, bishop e3, king g7, bishop c5. And after knight b5 check, king b4, knight c7, king takes a4, knight a6, bishop e3, king f7, bishop takes h6, taking another pawn, knight c5 check, king b5, knight e4, but white has the two pawns, bishop f4, knight f2, h6, very accurate technique, and then knight g4, e6 check, and black resigned the game. So guys, this was a fabulous game between these two strong grandmasters. I hope you enjoyed this video. Share to your friends and subscribe the channel. Hit the bell icon for latest updates and more chess videos. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Till then, stay happy, stay blessed. Thanks a lot.